Majority of Canadians view Trudeau as an incompetent liar. An incompetent liar. It's according to a poll. Many Canadians simply want a change in national leadership, and that's because their lives have gotten much worse, and they view Trudeau, who is the current leader of Canada, as an incompetent liar. An incompetent liar. How about that? How did it come to this? Well, you just have to kind of pay attention to what's been happening in Canada for the better part of a decade, and you can see why people would think that. I mean, let's see. Incompetent liar. So everything's gotten worse. He apparently has no plan for anything. His mass immigration. He's the guy who said that that the budget would balance itself, and we'd have to forgive him if he doesn't think about monetary policy. And he brought in millions of people with no idea where they're all going to live, not seeming to care. When he took over, you didn't have to wait 18 hours in the emergency room. But the liar part, the liar. Majority of Canadians view Trudeau as an incompetent liar. Liar. Why is that? I mean, I don't know. I guess just like everything from the huge to the little, like the most petty. Petty lies about who pays for his trips. Lies about the carbon tax. Lies about immigration, how much, the process. Lies about gun crime and crime in general and who commits it. Lies about parents concerned with what their kids are being exposed to in school. That's right. They're all far right, all those parents. And, lies about the trucker protest. I mean, just lies like on every detail of the trucker convoy and the trucker protest. Lied about the Emergencies Act. Lied about foreign interference in Canada's elections, including what he knew and when he knew it. It's just the same old thing. If he's talking, he's lying. I mean, that's just a bit of the lying. It's been constant. It's been nonstop. I think my favorite lie of his was that he couldn't tell us how many times that he'd done blackface, because if the number was more than the number that he gave us, it would make him seem as if he was lying.
I have a slight learning disability.
Yes, it does seem that he does. Seems that he does. Let's see. Rumbum says, it's funny because to be good at lying, you actually need to be at least somewhat clever. So he can't even do that right. No, I think what Trudeau has, I mean, he does have a kind of raw political talent. He has kind of an animal cunning. I wouldn't say he's not smart or even clever, but he just has this kind of animal political cunning somehow. I mean, he has won elections. You have to keep in mind too. I mean, like he's had, everything's been in his favor. When you have the media so fully in your favor, it's a lot easier to keep getting elected. And he barely, has got, the last couple of elections, he lost the popular vote. These were minority governments. He won with actually, coincidentally, about the same percentage of the vote as Hitler did in 1933. Isn't that interesting? I'm not saying that he's Hitler. I'm just saying that he's awful. Okay, so let's get into this. A poll released Sunday by Abacus Data for the Toronto Star suggests Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his liberal policies are overwhelmingly unpopular in every region of Canada and among both sexes. Among all respondents, the survey found 7% of respondents have an impression of Trudeau that is very positive. That's 7% have an impression of Trudeau that is very positive. 7%. What is wrong with that 7%? They must have gotten dropped on their heads when they were babies or something. I don't know. 17% were somewhat positive. Again, I mean, not as bad as the very positive, but still, I don't know, some sort of a brain issue. 20% neutral. Again, how are you neutral on this? You just have to be paying absolutely no attention whatsoever. 20% somewhat negative and 39% very negative. So we've got 59% either somewhat or very negative. I'm surprised it's that low. I would have thought it would be at least like 90%. But the thing is, I think there's a lot of wisdom in that thing. Scott Adams said that, 25% of the people are always wrong about everything all the time. And I think there's a lot of truth. I mean, I'm not, it's not like absolutely 25%, 20%, 27%, something like that. But, it's a fifth to a quarter of people are always wrong about everything all the time. And that's Trudeau's base. So you see here, 7 plus 17, so 24%. 24% of Canadians are always wrong about everything all the time. 24% of Canadians are either very positive or somewhat positive about Justin Trudeau. And that means they have been wrong about everything from the moment that they were born. Every decision they've ever made has been wrong. They've done everything wrong, because that's how you have to be to still support Justin Trudeau. It is truly it's a calamitous failure of reason, or just common sense. But there you have it. You're always going to have that, you know. Let's see. Dramus Eve says that he hates Trugina. And I have to say, I appreciate very much the use of the name Trugina for Justin Trudeau. We're trying to popularize that here on Radio Baloney. All right. So 59% of Canadians are on the ball anyway. All right. Those results are remarkably similar by gender, with only 24% of men and 25% of women having an impression of Trudeau on the positive side of the scale. So those are some very high levels of estrogen in that 24% of men who probably collect like My Little Pony stuff, I'm guessing, you know, and male feminists, right? Male feminists who just spew out a bunch of feminist gibberish, hoping for, you know, one of the feminists that they're orbiting to, you know, get broken up with badly and have too much of their box of wine, and then he's in like Flynn. That's who's voting for Trudeau. Let's see. In his Substack analysis of the poll, Abacus Data CEO David Coletto said it is clear that Canadians' negative feelings towards Trudeau are more intense than they have been at previous points over the past 4 years. Yes, that's because for so many people, they reached that line where all of a sudden politics now matters, where now they have to pay attention. Let's see. It says, more important, in my view, to understanding public attitudes as well as public reaction to the Prime Minister is the big gap between those who have a very positive view of him, 7%, and those who have a very negative view, 39%. That's a big gap. He's done. I don't know why he's hanging around. I mean, if it really is his genuine goal to just simply destroy Canada, to wreck Canada for forever, really. I mean, there's already generational damage that's been caused by him, but to just really put the final coffin nails in, I mean, I'm starting to think that's the case, that he really does just want to wreck Canada for some globalist reason, for some Klaus Schwab reason, for some World Economic Forum reason, for some UN reason, because he's got to know that it's over. He must know that it's over. It's not going to change these numbers. Let's go to the polls. Here's the most recent one, July 28th. With the projections right now, if they perform at the worst of these projections, they'd still have a majority government, the Conservatives. At best, I mean, it's, you know, a historic win. Odds of winning the most seats. Conservatives, 99%. Liberals, 1%. Conservative Party of Canada, majority, the odds, 99%. 99%. He must know that it's over for him. He must know. So why is he hanging around? Is it just ego? Because I can't imagine that it's going to be an ego boost to him to wake up the morning after the election and see the headlines, you know, Conservative landslide, historic win. And maybe it is that he just simply wants to wreck Canada for, I get, globalist reasons or environmental reasons or something. It's strange. I mean, it's an odd thing for a politician to be this unpopular and just still cling on, you know, outside of like an actual dictator. So it's interesting. It's interesting and horrifying. It's interesting and horrible and horrifying and tragic, because everything he's saying is that he's going to keep jamming people into the country. He's not going to stop. Like, he's going to get as many people into Canada as he can. Rumbum says, once you've been given such corrupted power, you don't let it go easy, I guess. Maybe it is his ego. Maybe he thinks this is all providence, and he's, you know, the gods are going to deliver him some miraculous victory in October of next year. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.